Hello lovely people, I'm Moni and welcome to the first video analysis of Polski z Grażyną podcast. Grażyna starts the first episode by saying Cześć, jestem Grażyna. She uses the word cześć, which is the most popular Polish informal greetings, and it means hi. Very often cześć is also used as bye when it's used together with pa over here. So it's an informal greeting, very commonly used in everyday Polish, and together with cześć pa, it also means bye. Cześć is not the only greeting informal greeting that we can use in Polish. We can also use hejka, the one here, hejka, or just hey, that's also absolutely fine. So either hejka or hey. But there are many other ways of greeting and bidding farewell to someone. And I've got a separate video on that. So if you are my AVP patron, audio, video and practice patron, please make sure that you check out a separate video on that. Cześć means hi, and as I mentioned, it's an informal greeting. So as Polish distinguishes between the formal and informal type of speech, we cannot use this greeting in business-like professional situations, but only when we refer to someone we know, our friend or acquaintance, someone younger, much younger than us. This is a very casual podcast, so therefore Grażyna chooses cześć instead of dzień dobry państwu. So this one together with this one. If she would have addressed listeners in this way, that would have meant good day or good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and that would have been a little bit too much, if you know what I mean. It would have been very, very professional. She would have had to carry on with sir or madam, Mr., Miss, and that would be definitely too professional. So therefore she chooses cześć. Grażyna finishes her episode by saying miło mi. It's a pleasure, nice to meet you. I'll explain a little bit more about this expression in the further slide. So she doesn't really say bye in this episode, but if she would have, then she would have chosen either na razie, this one here, pa, here, or just cześć pa. As I said at the very beginning, we can combine these two together. So let's summarize. In this part, we covered the first word that Grażyna uses in the first episode, which is cześć. It means hi, but it also used as bye, especially when combined with pa. So cześć, hi, cześć pa, bye. It's an informal greeting used in everyday situations when referring to someone who is younger, who we know, who is our friend or acquaintance. In the next slide, I'm going to analyze the grammar behind the first episode and introduce the verb być to you. Please make sure, if you are my AVP patron, that you watch a separate video on the basic greetings and farewells, informal, formal, and universal in Polish. So let me start this slide by saying that I'm going to simplify the grammar subject as much as I can for you. This doesn't mean that the Polish grammar is simple and you're not going to learn much. To the contrary, you are going to learn a lot really a lot, but in your own pace, step by step, without being overloaded by too much information, especially at the very beginning, and being confused by it. So there's no point in me giving you at this stage the types of conjugations in Polish, for instance, or the endings of infinitives, talking about how many we've got and what they are. It's pointless. It could be off-putting, it could be confusing, but you are going to learn about it in the future. So just bear with me, take it step by step. You have to learn to walk before you run. So let's start on the verb być, which means to be, być, and być is an infinitive. What does it mean? Infinitive. An infinitive is an unaltered, unchanged form of a verb, so nothing has been done to it yet. It looks as it would appear in a dictionary, if you like. So być is an infinitive, however its changed forms are here in white, and they are changed accordingly to who is speaking in a sentence, who is a subject, who is speaking, and who could be speaking. Well, ja, I could be speaking. Ja means I. Ty is you. On, he. Ona, she. Ono, it. I'm going to omit these additional words here for now, so bear with me. And here in plural, who could be speaking in plural? We've got my, which is we, wy, which means you, plural, as in you people. And here we've got oni and one. Both mean they, but one are reserved for feminine nouns only. And again, in future, I'll explain it all to you. Grażyna says, cześć, jestem Grażyna. Jestem, I am. And although I just said I am, you can clearly hear that in the podcast, Grażyna doesn't say ja jestem. She doesn't include ja, I, in it. She doesn't because she doesn't have to. Jestem, form jestem, is only reserved for ja, as you can see. It's the only form that ends with the letter M. So Grażyna doesn't have to use I as well, ja. Jestem is absolutely enough. Jestem means I am. And it's exactly the same with the second form, jesteś. It's the only one that ends with S accent, consonant ś, jesteś, which means you are. And that's the reason why these words, we call them personal pronouns, are in brackets. You don't have to include ty in jesteś either. So jesteś is absolutely enough again. However, if you look at jest, it's shared between on, ona, ono, and other words. And in this case, we have to include the person, because otherwise it would be very unclear who we are talking about or referring to, unless it's very clear from the context. But if it's not, the person needs to be included. So on jest, he is. Ona jest, she is. And ono jest, it is. In plural, we have again the same situation with my and wy, so we and you. We've got reserved forms for these personal pronouns. So we can say jesteśmy, we are, instead of my jesteśmy, right? And then jesteście for you are, without adding the. They, so oni, either oni or one, share the form są, are, which is are. So we have to be specific here and include the person. So either oni są or one są. Let us look at the additional words now that I omitted at the very beginning of the slide. The word to means this, and it's not a personal pronoun like on, ona, or ono. It just means this, and it uses the form jest of the verb to be. So in order to say this is in Polish, you would say to jest. Now, Polish uses the formal and informal way of addressing people. So, as I mentioned in the greetings and farewell slide, and in order to say, for instance, sir, you are very welcome, you would use the third person singular form of any verb, right? And sir in Polish, or sir, Mr, means pan, and pani would be Ms or Madam. So you would use the third person singular form. In this case, for the verb być is jest, in order when addressing someone professionally, formally. So you are very nice, Mr. Sir. Pan jest bardzo miły. You wouldn't use you are from this chart here, but that's more advanced. That's something that you'll learn in the near future. And that's not something that I want you to worry about at this stage. It's just for you to understand and to know why it's there. Because at some point when you do learn the formal way of addressing people, then this chart and this pani and pan here will be very useful to you. And it's exactly the same for plural. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Or ladies, for instance, will be on this part here, a third person plural. There's another form for ladies only, panie. It's not included here, but again, at this stage, don't worry about it. It's only here because in the near future, you will find it very useful. It will be very, very helpful for you. But at this stage, don't worry about it at all. Let's summarize then. Jestem means I am. In Polish, we don't have to include the personal pronoun ja in it, as jestem with its ending m is reserved only for that first person singular. So again, jestem, I am. Our last slide introduces the expression miło mi. You may have heard or may have been taught that it means nice to meet you. And it's not really the truth. The verb to meet doesn't even appear in this expression. What it literally means is nicely to me. Not to meet, but to me. So it doesn't really make much sense in English. When it comes to expressions and even more so idioms, the last thing that you want to do is to translate them literally. What you want to do is to learn the meaning behind them, because translation could be extremely confusing and it wouldn't make sense when it comes to idioms anyway. So rather than translate, try learning the meaning. And the meaning behind miło mi would be it's a pleasure. It's nice to meet you. So you would use this expression when introducing yourself to someone or when someone is introduced to you. More complicated info now for those of you who are a little bit more advanced. Miło is an adverb. Lots of adverbs in Polish and with the vowel o. Miło is one of them, nicely. And mi is the personal pronoun ja in dative case. So ja becomes mi in dative. So we've got an adverb and a personal pronoun here in this expression. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this video analysis gave you a better insight into what kind of expressions and grammar were used in the first episode. If you are my AVP patron, please do check out 2 additional videos. The first one on the basic greetings and the farewells, and the second one on the pronunciation and spelling of all the words used in the first episode. Thank you very much. Dziękuję.